Good morning, good afternoon, and if you're coming home from working a long 9 to 5, hope you're having a great one as we bring to you another edition of BodySlam.net's Talktagon with myself, Rami, and the Beast, Max himself. What a weekend it was for mixed martial arts, and for example, for the UFC, they traveled to Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates. This event marked the promotion's 22nd visit to Abu Dhabi and the first since this past July, where Robert Whittaker had lost to Renner the Ritter in a main event that many, plotted that would be Renner the Ritter's big elevation for his next fight to win, and then we didn't see that happen. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not a little bit of a dig, but that's just the previous results that we've seen.
Yep.
But this event was headlined by UFC Heavyweight Champion Tom Aspinall and the former interim champion Ciryl Gane. It also featured a women's strawweight championship bout for the vacant title between former Invicta FC strawweight champion Verna Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern. The current two-time champion Zhang Weili had vacated the title in order to challenge for the women's flyweight championship that'll happen November 15 at Madison Square Garden. In what
Oh,
will be a very, very exciting card. We could even get the main event, from this card on that card if everything, tries to sign up, and get the Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane. Everyone knows the result. Everyone knows
mhm.
the main event result. I feel that this was just a big clusterfuck, and
Yeah.
it was not something that we were happy for. Hold on a minute. All right, sorry. It was doing some fuck shit on the comments over here. Sorry about that. But as you can see, Max himself here has himself an Los Angeles Dodgers hat on.
Yes,
If you're a
sir.
baseball fan, last night we witnessed 18 innings of World Series baseball between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays, where in the end it was the Canadian himself, Freddie Freeman, who knocked it out of the park, walk off for a second year in a row. Just what
Yeah,
a time to be alive.
for real,
What a
bro.
time to be
Clutch.
alive.
That was more
So,
entertaining than this last card. I'm not gonna lie.
oh,
Not
I
gonna
could
lie.
watch those 18 innings over this 4 hour card that was just it wasn't even it was 8 hours almost like 8 hours card in a way
Yeah,
like
it was
seven
like
seven
decision after decision after
7 a.m. till
decision.
3 p.m. and it was just a bunch of clusterfucks. We opened up with the prelims here on our side, and there's green, but there's some red. Of
Lots
course,
of bread for me. Whew.
there was
It was
there
a
was a
rough start,
time
bro.
where
I thought I'd never get one. I was like, uh-oh, this is looking rough, bro.
I know. I legit looked at my watch and I said, "God, do you hate us? Like, what's going on here, Buster?" Um, but my goodness, like the UFC has a problem. They have a pay problem, and we've said that for centuries now, it feels. But they have a problem where we have all of these decisions, all of them, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine decisions, and we only got two finishes, literally a knockout finish, submission finish, which we expected the submission finish, but it's just funny that the bonus awards, like the fight of the night, went to, of course, Klein and Rebetsky. We'll get into that
Yeah, that one was a
crazy
banger.
fight. And the performance of the night went to, of course, Quillan Sakilid, which earned it, and
Valid.
Walter Walker, who, my God, like at this point, I feel like someone's just gotta,
Hmm.
amputate their legs and fight him like
Yeah,
that. Like if you can't fight him with your legs, just fight him with your arms. Like I don't really know how to put it into like two and two. It's
for
just a
real.
clusterfuck.
That was
But
unstoppable with the heel hook.
before before we do get into, of course, the whole show and shebang and whatnot, Max, my friend, how was your weekend and how was your Monday?
Fantastic. Thankfully, we had a bit of a letdown on the UFC side, but our Dodgers came through for us, got that W. I would have been a little bit depressed if I had to watch that very disappointing main event in the UFC. We'll get more into that, and then if the Dodgers go all those extra innings, 18 extra innings or 18 total innings, freaking 2 games in one night, and then lose, I would have been having a rough time. But thankfully, Freddie Freeman came in clutch, got that walk-off home run. So I'm happy. Thank God. And yeah, I'm ready to talk about this, somewhat disappointing card, but I'm excited to get into that main event. all that bullshit that happened, and the kind of a bit of the reactions from everyone, because there was a lot of different opinions flying around about, you know, what really happened, if you know, someone was embellishing the injury or not. But we'll get more into that as we go.
Yes, we will. There's a lot of stupid idiots on the internet, as we see from the main event, who want to have all their little opinions and depictions of, oh, if I got poked in the eye, oh, if this happened to me, I'd still continue. Really,
Like,
you're saying that from your couch in your basement, where your mom is cooking you 50 pizza rolls for lunch for the 20th year in a row, and of course you could survive an eye poke, and like, oh, that didn't even look like it hurt. I could say the same fucking, like, if I watched a bunch of like like, you know, growing up in middle school, people always had those like beheading videos. If I
Yeah.
watched any of those fucking videos, I'd be like, that didn't look like it hurt. My neck is too strong for that. My collarbone would fucking like, you know, ricochet off the fucking, you know, blade and send it to fucking like wherever the fuck. It's really easy to say that until
Yeah.
you actually feel the fucking impact and you get something poked in your eye, you get stabbed, you get cut, any of those things, and they got, oh wow, this ain't no fucking game. Like, of
Yeah.
course, and
For real.
it's coming from a lot of people who like to use the R slur quite a lot. Like every like response that I saw people doing was like, oh, if you don't want to believe, like, you know, that was a fake eye poke and that, you know, he pussied himself out of the fight, then you're just and they'll like, throw the RETARD word. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I had to spell that for, like, you know, anybody who was wondering what I was meaning. They're probably thinking I meant Rebetsky or whatever. I'm like, no, that's not the R what I'm talking about. But like,
That's a good type of
they'll
R
throw.
word.
Yeah, it's just the timing of that's great. But like, no, but like seriously, people will throw out all these like fucked up words and all this other shit, and they'd be like, "Oh well, you know, that's just the way it is. This is America. It is America." And you know, Las Vegas isn't that too far from me. It's only like about 30, 40 minutes from me. I could go easily there and just fucking like rip your fucking eyelid out of your fucking head, and bam, your fucking eye's gone. Oh wow, what are you gonna do with it?
Real
Nothing.
though. I'm like,
Take
would
it
you
off.
want to fight after that? I don't think so.
Exactly, exactly. And a lot of people who do talk shit online, they have fighting words. They have a lot of fighting words. I'm just like, I'm not a fighter, nor am I a lover. Like, I'm completely in between. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? But if somebody ever calls me the R word or any of that type of stuff, and they think, oh, when they see me, oh, I'm gonna dap them up. Oh, can I buy you a beer as an apology? I will fuck you up. I will not lie to you. If anyone calls me a slur, a fucked up word, any type of thing possible to where I'm thinking to myself, huh, you're actually meaning that, huh?
Yeah.
You're basically gonna end up with a fucking foot in your fucking ass, like golly.
For
But
real, dude. People
that's
be wilding,
that's
dude. Talking behind the
that's
phone.
talking behind these fucking comments. You know who doesn't talk behind comments? You know who's always there? You know who will always step up? Randy.
The goat.
Cranking a hog.
Let's
Um,
go.
but I also put this here. I don't know if anybody saw it. I think, but comment your favorite horror film of all time. Like you know, like it is the week of Halloween. I'm
That's a tough
wearing
one.
Jason. I'm wearing Jason's mama's sweater right here. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking for my boy. I'm looking for my boy. I can't find him anywhere. Is he in the water? Is he? Are they having sex? What are they doing? But my goodness, like what a card. Can't wait to get to it right now. Women's strawweight action. Mizuki Inouye versus Jacqueline Amorin, who has been very active. Jacqueline has been. Mizuki took off a 2 year, 2 year hiatus from the sport, got herself back in check, got some, you know, injuries, rehab, everything going good for her. She came into this fight. We both went with Jacqueline, but the entire fight was the process of Mizuki and her jab and her sprawl ability. The sprawling was top notch, but let's talk about those punch. Every time she got into the pocket, she landed those beautiful jabs and those clean little hooks, the short hooks especially. Every time, and Amora couldn't. I thought there was going to be a finish at multiple points because we saw a gassed out Jacqueline from round 2 all the way till the end of the fight. She didn't want to be in there. Every time she got back up, it was like you know, you're forcing your way back up. You're trying to get back into the octagon and, you know, trying to continue this fight. But Mizuki was on another level. You know, I wish I would have known this, you know, prior to and everything, like the things that she went through, the training abilities, all this other stuff, because of course I think I would have had like a different ability from picking the favorites over picking somebody who's taken some time off from the sport and got better in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But Mizuki Inouye picks up the unanimous decision win 30-27 on two judge scorecards and a 29-28 to get the victory over Jacqueline Amorim. What were your thoughts on this big win for Mizuki off her, return to the octagon?
Yeah, I was really interested to see how she looked after that really long layoff. Obviously, I went with Amorim and ended up not being the correct pick at all. It was just completely one-sided the entire way through. And wow, she really came in here looking to prove a point that, hey, even though I took some time off, I'm still here. I'm still one of the better, up-and-comers. And, man, she looked great. And like you said, I thought there could have been a finish at some points, but just how dominant it was just nonstop. And credit to Amorim for sticking in there, but, she just got absolutely outworked and just was not able to do anything, really. It was like basically Mizuki was having her way with her and, dominant performance, especially coming off of that huge long layoff and coming up against someone like Amorim who has been finishing a bunch of girls and looking really good doing it, finishing all these people. So I was thinking, okay, Amorim's going to get another W here, but Mizuki spoiled our plans and we started off 0-1 with the predictions and, it didn't get much better for me from there.
No, it's not. Oh man, it's like dark comedy. You gotta put yourself a little bit down before you finally can get back up there.
Bro, these predictions are a cruel game, bro. Cruel game.
Really, really cruel game. I cannot stand it. But Mizuki picks up the big win here in the women's story division, getting back into the octagon, getting a big win here. I cannot wait to see what she does next because she looked very clean out there. She looks like she should fight probably in December, maybe in that Qatar card in I believe like December 2nd, I believe it is, whatever, November 22nd. It's one of those cards. It's one of those later month cards and whatnot. I can't wait to see it because of course they were saying that they should get the heavyweight title fight on there on the Qatar card to give back to the fans and the Arab Emirates who missed out on the the main event and whatnot. I think that would be nice.
Yeah,
because you have two like contender fights essentially with Bilal Muhammad and Ian Gary and Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker, and then you get the main event being a heavyweight title fight. I think that really does give the crowd a lot of big love. Plus you can have the co-main event be 5 rounds to Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker. You can let Bilal and Ian be 3 rounds. I don't really mind them being 3 rounds at all because it really does add the anticipation. Because if we get a 5-round fight, 4th and 5th round, they're going to be very gassed. But 3 rounds deep, we'll see how much energy they have at the end of it. Speaking of energy and having it, Azat Maksum did not have really any energy at all. He looked like a shell of himself, and I mean that respectfully. But Mitch Raposo, who was the underdog coming into this, he even said so. He was the underdog coming into this. And I believe who missed weight here?
I think Maxim did.
Maxim missed weight by 1 pound, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Against Mitch Raposo, and Raposo showed that I not only want your purse money, but I want the very, very big purse, and I want to just dominate this whole fight. And he was letting the shit talk known like from round 2 and round 3. Round 1, we saw like him landing some really good shots and whatnot, getting into the clinch work and trying to get those takedowns going. Second round, the same bit of everything, but him still talking shit to Maksum's team and whatnot. Third round comes in, he lands even more takedowns. He's just literally dragging Azat Maksum to the ground, dominating him the whole time, and then picks up the win 30-26, 29-27, and 29-27. There was a point deduction in the third round for Maksum grabbing the fence. And I want to say this. Great on it. Great on the point deduction. I like that. What about all these other fights that we've seen where this has happened? There was a women's fight a couple of weeks back or whatever where they did like a fence grab. Nobody called it, and then she won the fight, which she wasn't supposed to, because if she never grabbed the fence and she was stuck on the ground, she would have been ground and pounded and it finished right then and there. She used the fence grab. Nobody called a foul. A fence grab right here, foul called, point deducted. I'm like, so are they nitpicking? What are they doing here? Like,
all we need is consistency, guys. Please, maybe start doing this all the time.
I also noticed this. Mark Goddard was an official for a lot of fights on Saturday.
Yeah, he was.
Like a lot of fights. They were like, we cannot let no bullshit go through. We gotta let fucking Mark Goddard, no nonsense, handle the business. Mitch Raposo picks up this big decision, unanimous, of course, over Azat Maksum. What were your thoughts in this win?
Yeah, I knew Raposo's a tough dude, but I thought he'd be outclassed in this one. Maxim has a lot of good skills, but he just was not able to put it together whatsoever. And Raposo was just a much hungrier fighter and was just doing pretty much what he wanted. And Maxim almost looked a little bit like surprised with how good Raposo was, and he was just never able to catch up to him. And Raposo was just much more explosive, much more active, and just doing more and able to negate Maxim's game plan. And Maxim never really had a plan B, and it was just dominance. And then that grab, obviously, the point deduction didn't do him any favors. So he was basically needed to finish after that point, but was not able to get it. And huge shout out to Raposo. He was coming in here as a huge underdog. I think at some point it was like Maxim was like minus 500. It was crazy to have that massive upset. So all credit to Raposo. I remember seeing him on the Ultimate Fighter a few years back, and I was thinking this guy's a little bit cocky, but he's definitely hungry. So now he's finally putting the skills together, and he's only 27 years old. So you can tell this guy is dedicated. He keeps getting better and better as we see him. So I'm definitely impressed with this performance, and definitely I'm looking forward to see who they match him up with next, because this is a tough test, and he passed it with flying colors. So great way to get your first UFC win after, starting out 0-2, but is able to get in the win column finally, especially as a huge underdog. That's a huge W. So, shout out to Mitch. Maxim gonna need to, I don't know, work on his stand-up for sure.
And before I of course continue, I'm trying to send I was sending links about the show. Maxum did get cut from the UFC, of course. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens going forward for his career, and for the rest, because people can bounce back. That regional scene can really help you a lot, and getting hungry again. If you get complacent and then you go into these fights, especially in the prelims, and then you get complacent, you're never gonna advance. We always see these fighters who are cream of the crop, top of the level. Sean Brady, Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, 3 names that all kicked off prelims and would dominate the prelims, got to the main card and dominated the main card themselves, and then whether they won a championship or they're near close to winning a championship, you can't get complacent. You always have to keep getting better and better each and every fight, studying your opponent like you study the Bible. Speaking of studying the Bible, I think Hamdi Abdelawab is going to have to do a lot of that after his performance this past Saturday. Moving forward to the heavyweight division, I might have picked up the win here, but it doesn't feel like a win. Does not feel like a win whatsoever.
It was definitely an L to watch.
Hamdi Abdelwahab fought Chris Barnett, the returning fan favorite Chris Barnett, who got taken down multiple times.
I was hoping for the crazy knockout.
I was hoping to. I like when they were standing face to face with each other. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get 2 big, beefy men fighting each other a month early from Thanksgiving. This is gonna be a good one." like when you had Thanksgiving and you eat your fucking food, you lay down on the couch, you unzip your pants, you're like, "Man, I'm good for myself." Now let's say if somebody offers you a piece of pie, you grab the plate. Your brother, your uncle grabs the other plate. You're like, "Oh, we gotta fight each other." You two are fucking stuffed. You're tired, but you already know that one good punch is gonna drop the other. This was a fight like that, but the thing is, we didn't get one punch that dropped the other. We just got 2 slow guys who were just trying to make it out of the 15 minutes. I really don't know. Hamdi Abdelwahab got the takedown multiple times, almost got point deducted for landing an elbow to the back of the neck, back to the head area and whatnot. It didn't look like it was the back of the head, but the way that it brushed off, I was like, okay. You can't let that happen. It's very, it's very serious that not let that type of stuff happen.
Yeah.
So understandable, but my God, a guy coming from a torn ACL, recovering from a torn ACL, and he couldn't aim for that. Like, remember when he fought Muhammad Usman? Muhammad Usman got landed on fucking 20 leg kicks in the first round. Hamdi Abdelwahab was like, you know what? This fight, I'm gonna change up my whole fight camp. I'm not gonna go stand up. I'm gonna become a wrestler. Did you train with Khabib? Did you get any pointers from Walter Walker? Which speaking, we'll get to that, that in a moment, because what he said, but
Yeah.
in the end, Hamdi Abdelwahab makes it to the final round, pretty much dominated the whole thing, but you can't really call it domination when both guys are just standing there. Um, he lets out a massive roar like he's Katy Perry, and then once he gets to the post-fight speech, he says, "I want next Walter Walker," who we saw later on in the night. Which, by the way, great fan art of him. Like your work, my God,
Thank you, bro.
that was scary. I'm like,
Had to get one for
Halloween season. I'm like, oh my God, that is freaking tough. They got to make a movie out of this fucker.
bro. High to heels, baby.
He says that he wants Walter Walker next, and the UFC says, "We got you, never." And they cut him from the UFC today. I believe it was like today or something like that. So like they cut him from the UFC. Chris Barnett did not get cut from the UFC, but Hamdi did because we gave you a layup. We gave you the perfect alley-oop, Vince Carter, and you bricked it. You know what I mean? Like you could have immediately had the most shiny moment of the night, big knockout. They'd be like, "Hey, we can't get rid of him. He showed he has knockout power." Before they signed Hamdi Abdelwahab, he had this knockout record. Everybody he fought in the regional scene, he killed them. The UFC was like, "We need to get this guy." There was him and a French fighter from the PFL. Like he signed with the PFL later on and whatnot. Like there was two guys that the UFC really wanted. Hamdi was the one who signed on the dotted line. He got hit with a drug test failure. People were like, "Okay, when he comes back, he'll do something good maybe." No, his whole UFC run has been just mediocre, and it sucks to say that because he has the part of a heavy power hitter, and he just does not show that whatsoever. It's like he just gets too scared and outgunned, like he feels like his chin is not going to be able to land with Muhammad Usman, which he did not, or with Chris Barnett, who's coming off a freaking ACL injury. Like, come on. But what were your thoughts here on this heavyweight win for Hamdi Abdelwahab, which doesn't really matter now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Respectfully, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was definitely disappointed in both guys. Honestly, I could tell that the ACL surgery must have really affected Barnett because he was even more inactive than usual, and it was just a tough one to see where one dude was kind of clearly outmatched, but then the other dude wasn't able to get the finish. So it's like, what are we even watching here, guys? This is just terrible. And then we ended up seeing Barnett's ass out. So that was probably the most exciting part of the whole show, if I'm being honest. The whole fight, I mean, where that was probably the most action we saw from Barnett. But it's kind of crazy that Hamdi got cut and Barnett is possibly still on the roster. They haven't announced him being cut, which is a little crazy, but I see why. I mean, Barnett is just such a fun fighter normally and has a great personality, but it seems like his style is starting to diminish. Where we've seen him with these crazy knockouts with his spinning heel kick to the head, knocking dudes out. But it seems like he's really slowed down, especially for someone that size. Where once you lose your athleticism at that size, it's like basically what are you now? You're just kind of a big dude who can't really do anything. So it's basically open season for these other heavyweights. But Hamdi wasn't able to get the finish, so I can see why they're a little bit pissed. Where it's like, all right, let's get this over with, but it ended up dragging on for the whole entire time. And it's never good when you have a failed drug test and now you're not putting on good performances. So I guess I see why they got rid of him. I wonder if Barnett will be gone soon, but we'll see. I was a little bit disappointed. He wasn't really looking great whatsoever. So maybe he just needs to focus on the dancing at this point.
You know what I mean? Like Chris Barnett, he had suffered losses to Kennedy and Nzechukwu and now Hamdi Abdelwahab in between all the whole ACL injury. I wouldn't be shocked if they cut him, but I feel like the entertainment factor behind him is the reason why they're like, all right, we'll give him one more shot. With Hamdi, he started off in 2021 with game bred bare knuckle. Knocked out Matthew Strickland, knocked out Conor McKenna, knocked out Dustin Clemens, knocked out Tyler Lee, then knocked out Matthew Strickland again in like 27 seconds. Like he beat all these guys in literally 3 minutes or less. And then he gets to the UFC against Dontel Myers. He wins by a split decision. It gets overturned because, of course, anabolic steroids. He fights Jamal Pose, wins by a split decision. They're like, all right,
That was
What
kind of
can you do
sus
for
one,
us?
yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, what can you do for us next? He fights in this past June against Muhammad Usman in a fight where he was winning the first round with those leg kicks, and all of a sudden he gassed himself out and was just getting jabbed off by a wrestler. Muhammad Usman is supposed to be a bona fide wrestler like his brother, but he was literally just working at a jab like he's Floyd Mayweather in his prime. Then they get to this next
Mm.
fight with Chris Barnett, and just awful. And also, he was also deducted 1 point in round one due to an illegal elbow to the back of the head. So like they were like, brother, like you're not doing anything good for us whatsoever. So what the hell is going on here? So yeah, uh, that was like the most voided heavyweight fight we've ever seen
Yeah.
because neither side matters. Like you lost, what happens to you? You won, you got cut. So sorry.
Yeah. So basically,
Our
useless
next
fight.
our next fight got things back into the in the entertainment aspect. We
Yes.
didn't win it. We didn't win it, but things got very, very interesting. Nathaniel Wood and Jose Miguel Delgado. If you've seen Delgado fight, knockout punches, scary clinch work, everything about this guy reeks of havoc.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Wood is a great veteran in the UFC, and he's somebody that you cannot take your eyes off of, and you cannot underestimate. A lot of people were underestimating him, and it came to bite them in the ass, including us.
Yep. Including us.
Where round one he gets dropped by Delgado, and I thought to myself, "Oh, that's it. Delgado's gonna control the next 2 rounds like he's Joshua Van or Ilya Topuria. Like this guy is just a freaking beast." Round two came in, and Nathaniel Wood was landing these beautiful shots, kicks, everything possible to put Delgado in his place, in his corner, and pressure him the whole fight. And even with Nathaniel Wood being busted up, like he was busted wide open, like it was Triple H in 03. And we're like, okay, what's gonna happen here? The round three comes in, and it was basically like, oh, whoever wins this one definitely takes it. And Nathaniel Wood put his foot on the pedal, pressured up Delgado, and was able to land a takedown, landed some beautiful shots. And in the end of the day, he wins unanimous decision. I wouldn't say it was unanimous decision,
Mm.
but definitely it was a split decision. Because that, if they're trying to say unanimous decision, then what was the knockdown in round one? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what?
Nearly
And
got
then
him out of there. Yeah.
same thing with the Umar Nurmagomedov fight. My God, that was a big tongue twister. Umar Nurmagomedov versus like Mario Batista. Like
Yep.
we saw a knockdown in that fight, and they didn't count it. They're like, oh, that didn't count for the judges' scorecards. Okay. But Nathaniel Wood picks up the big unanimous decision win over Delgado, who I believe was undefeated. Was he undefeated?
Yes. Oh no. He had one loss, but he was undefeated in the UFC. Yeah.
Undefeated in the UFC. Thank you so much. Undefeated in the UFC, had so many knockout power, had so many great finishes, and then all of a sudden Nathaniel Wood was like, I didn't hear no bell, and kept pressuring him until the very end. Picks up the big win. What were your thoughts on Nathaniel Wood's big win here?
Yeah, massive win, especially against someone as good as Delgado. Like we said already, just was running through guys. But this was honestly a big step up for Delgado as well. So I think this is probably good experience for Delgado, even though he didn't get the win. He put on a really fun fight, and both guys, really true warriors. Nathaniel Wood, he's been around for a while, putting on amazing fight after amazing fight. So this is a really tough test for him. And he started out so great, like you said, but Nathaniel Wood showed why he's a veteran and was able to bounce back well and get the unanimous decision victory. I thought it could have been a split. It could have been either way with some of those rounds were so close, but I'm not mad at it at all. It was a close fight, so at that point it can go either way. So I can't be mad at either guy winning the fight when both guys, put on such a great show. But Wood gets it done this time, but no worries for Delgado. He's only 27, so plenty of time to get back in the win column, and he's such a fun fighter. He's going to be around for a while, I think, and really, really good. But happy for Nathaniel Wood. He's getting a nice little win streak going here, and you never know who they're going to match him up with next because he could really go in there against anyone and probably put on, if he doesn't get the win, it'll still be a tough performance. So he's going to make it scrappy out there. He's not exactly the type to get a lot of finishes, but he is the type to put on a fun fight, and sometimes that's more important than the finish. Sometimes I'd rather see, a really competitive back and forth fight rather than a first round quick domination where the guy is just completely outmatched. So I'm happy for Wood. 3 wins in a row now, throw him in there against, someone in the low rankings maybe, because at this point, I feel like he's earned it after beating Delgado as an underdog, where we've seen Delgado just destroying everyone. So, who knows what's next for Wood, but definitely it should be another step up here.
Definitely another step up here. Delgado definitely will, of course, get that another step up. Nathaniel Wood, I cannot wait to see what he does next, because his chin is made of steel. It was a really good fight, and I'm very happy for both men to be able to put on a performance like that. We needed it after the past couple of fights were just like a bunch of one-sided wrestling affairs. And you were talking about how you don't want to see like a quick one and done domination fight. Speaking of that, our next fight was Walter Walker versus Louis Sutherland, and it ended in 1 minute and 24 seconds from a Walter Walker heel hook, his 4th in a row.
He's unstoppable.
What were your thoughts on that 4th in a row finish?
Crazy, dude. It happened once. I was like, dang, crazy finish. And then it happened twice. I'm like, wow, what the hell is going on here? It happened 3 times. I'm like, okay, this is just getting weird. And then it happens again, dude. I'm like, this is almost getting unbelievable at this point. Especially, I saw this on Walter's Instagram. He literally broke his leg from one of the leg kicks from Sutherland. So he really needed to get that heel hook afterwards. So the fact that he was able to freaking take that leg kick, he was kind of wobbled afterward, so the commentators made note of it, and then he was able to get the takedown, and it's all over from there. Once you're on the ground with Walter Walker, he's just showing that he's found something that no one's able to replicate in training, because no one seems like they're ready for it, and he's just able to get that every single time right now, all in the first round. It's just starting to get ridiculous. This one might be the most impressive one yet after I saw those images of him freaking breaking his leg after he has it all casted up already. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I would think the other guy would be in the cast. But it just goes to show that this is just not a fluke whatsoever. This dude is legit a scary ground danger on the ground, where this dude's just gonna go for his signature move, dude. It's almost like an ultimate move in a video game where once he gets it, it's basically over. So, man, I can't wait to see. Throw him in there, someone big.
It's legit like Kurt Angle putting you in an ankle lock and just wrenching on your freaking foot the whole time. Like, you're dead, buddy. You're dead. You're gone.
Bro, give him a ranked opponent next. He's earned it for sure.
He's gotta give him top 5. Give him Jonathan Almeida next, dude. Let him fight Jonathan Almeida, and let just freaking see what happens next. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, dude.
What worse could happen? You know what I mean? But next up was our fight of the night, Ludovic Klein against Mateusz Rebecki. My goodness, what a fight this was. Ludovic Klein is so freaking tough, like, especially with the ending result that we saw. He's so freaking tough to be able to get out of there and get out of hell's way. But my God, Rebecki is just insane work. Like, my God, like he deserved it. He deserved this bonus just as much as Klein did, and I'm so glad that they got the fight of the night, because out of every fight of this whole card, these two were the ones who showed up and said, we want to get crazy and bloody. And Ludovic Klein was, kicking ass for 2 rounds straight, landing those beautiful jabs, getting those big drops. And just doing a lot of great work with the wrestling. And then, 3rd round came in. Something happened with his ankle. I think he broke his ankle, I believe. And we didn't know until the end of the fight, but we wouldn't have known if Rebecki would have put some more pressure on that, because he was landing these beautiful elbows. And the crazy part was, I think the scary part was Klein being on his back, landing that elbow, and all you see is like Rebecki's forehead just leaking all over the mat. You can see the blood getting darker and darker. I'm just like, oh my God, like, that's fucking nasty. It's fucking disgusting. But then Rebecki could not get the finish. They get to the judges' scorecards. A majority decision, 29-28, 28-27, and 28-28. The winner was Ludovic Klein, who won off the stool. He broke his ankle.
You don't see that every day.
I think that was oh my God, I was laughing so hard, because it's the way that he literally dropped Rebecki's arm, walked over to Klein, and lift him up. It's like being on a toilet, and like it's like a shitting competition, and then like your arm is like,
the winner.
the winner. Like, what the fuck? Like, but like
For real,
Ludovit
bro.
Klein,
Tough.
great. Mateusz Morawiecki, great. Like tough motherfuckers who just wanted to kill each other, and like it was bloody. Both men bloody, broken bones, just not able to fool. Like, if this was 5 rounds, I'm scared as to what that would have. Like I feel like I think it would have been called at that point. Like if we went to the 4th round, Ludovit Klein would have been like, I can't walk, my ankle
Yeah.
is shattered completely. That's it. And then Morawiecki would have gotten his win, but like my God, like it just this the craziness of the sport.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%.
what were your thoughts on Klein picking up that bloody win?
Yeah, he started off so great. We obviously picked Klein, so that was good for us. And Klein is just one of those guys where he's so skilled, so amazing. Like every time I see him, I'm just loving what I'm seeing. He's just so fun to watch. But man, Rimbeski's just a straight dog, dude, and he was not gonna go out of there easily. And now he's got 3 straight fight of the night bonuses, dude. Like this dude knows how to put on a fucking show. He's gonna be blooded up probably, but half the time he'll get the win. Maybe half the time he won't, but there's 100% chance it's gonna be an entertaining fight. So this dude will probably be around for a while, and I don't blame him for giving him that fight of the night bonus. Definitely was the best fight of the night. The fact that he was almost able to come back and nearly got the finish after such a dominant start from Klein was just absolutely insane. And it was a tough matchup. Klein is a really good fighter, and Rebecki was coming off of a loss, but I don't think his stock went down after that fight. I think if anything, it went up because it's just guaranteed action every single time, guaranteed entertainment, almost at this point, a guaranteed fight of the night. So, if you're facing him, be ready to, be injured afterwards because he's going to try to hurt you just as much as you hurt him. The judges' scorecards didn't go his way, but, he earned his respect from all the fans. And, I can't wait to see him fight again because it's just guaranteed fun. And as for Klein, it sucks he got injured. He probably could have put on a little bit better of a performance in that 3rd round, if not. But it is what it is. In the fight game, injuries happen. And I'm interested to see how long he's off. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully he's able to heal up because, similar to Becky, Klein's a super fun fighter as well. So this is a match made in heaven, and it definitely lived up to pretty much everything that you could want out of a fight. Both guys putting on great performances, nearly freaking leaking, drowning in with blood, dude. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just insane, the amount of blood pouring out. And the amount of toughness on display was just something to watch and admire 100%. So both these guys' stock went up in my eyes.
Most definitely. Also, what's so crazy about Rebecki is that that's his 3rd fight now with Fight of the Night. 3rd fight
It's
now.
ridiculous.
Brothers earning all the paychecks at once, $150,000 in 3 fights, along with whatever you get paid. Because I don't know his contract.
Plus 10 and 10.
Whether it's plus 10 and 10, whether it's plus 12 and 12, whether it's plus 21 and 21. Like it really depends on how the UFC wants to run those contracts.
Yeah, give him a freaking pay raise.
But thank goodness we got that win there. Like I was 3-3 at this point. I'm like, my God, like I finally got it out of the gutter. So
yes, for real. I was like, thank God I'm getting some wins. I thought I was never going to after that first 4.
I thought we weren't going to get a win in the next fight. Junyoung Park, against Ikram Aliskerov in the middleweight division. Ikram Aliskerov had Khabib Nurmagomedov in his corner, and Khabib was letting him know some great advice. But it was such a wild fight too because the entire fight we saw Park Junyoung trying his best. Junyoung Park trying his best to get the body strike, get that big hook to the body, shut down Aliskerov. It wasn't working. It looked like it could have worked in the 3rd round, but as soon as you get that advice from Khabib, you got to take it into full consideration and go guns blazing. 1st round came in, some good strikes were landed, but once that takedown was landed, I felt like it went, of course, to Aliskerov's way. 2nd round came in. It looked like he was getting a bit gassed out, but once he got those takedowns, things were looking up. But 3rd round could have been any man's game with a finish because of how gassed out both men were. And then in the end, Aliskerov picks up the knee, gets the takedown, gets the win, and gets himself a 30-27 victory on all judges' scorecards. It was a very takedown heavy fight. they were very scared on the stand-up because of course, you don't want to, pressure yourself too much, and then Jun Young Park just gets you with a big clean shot and sends you crashing down. But Alaskedov picks up a big win here. On top of him picking up the big win here, this is his second fight in a row where he picks up a win. Last fight was Andre Muniz, who he defeated. He lost to Robert Whitaker, which of course you're gonna lose to Whitaker. He's a very, very strong opponent. He's knocked out Worley Alvarez. He's knocked out Phil Haas. He submitted Mario Sosa in the Dana White Contender Series. Since 2022, he's picked up some very big win, performance and light bonuses only once. But other than that, he's still making his way through the middleweight division, keeping his spot safe, keeping everything protected. I think that, of course, he keeps his job. He's safe, his job and whatnot by picking up all these dominant wins. But something's going to have to change in regards to the jab work and the conditioning. Because if the conditioning was starting to deteriorate at that point, then there's going to be somebody else with better conditioning than you that's going to try to take you out, especially for the middleweight division. Like, for example, let's say he fights next Brendan Allen.
We saw what happened last time. Yep.
We saw what happened with the Ritter. Brendan Allen is a cardio machine. If you have a cardio machine on your team, you're screwed. But Ikram Aliskerov, he's going to have to, of course, do something big with that in his next fight. Jun Young Park. For him, this was, of course, his first loss in since 2023, where he lost to Andre Muniz, which is a pretty shocker. But he defeated Ismail Noduev. He beat Brad Tavares, Albert Duralev, Dennis Tuluyan, Joseph Holmes, Eric Anders. His last time he got finished was in 2021 against Gregory Rodriguez, who's fighting this upcoming pay-per-view on November 15. But he's been part of the UFC since 2019, where his first fight for Jun Young Park was being submitted by Anthony Hernandez. Is that Anthony Fluffy Hernandez.
Tough schedule, dude.
Tough schedule. Your first fight, you fight Fluffy Hernandez, and then you try to make your way back up there and whatnot. This middleweight division, like we said, it's very tough. Anything could happen. What were your thoughts in this win for Alaskedov?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a tough matchup for him. Jun Young Park always puts on a tough competitive fight. He never gives up on himself. Always is trying to get that win. I thought it was a pretty competitive fight, honestly. 30-27 doesn't really indicate how was, at least Park was putting up a fight and making it a little bit scrappy. But Alaskedov, I definitely think, was the correct winner. And, good win for him. The Iron Turtle's always a tough out for anyone. But, yeah, I'm just really impressed with Ikram. He's only lost to Khamzat and Whitaker, so there's no shame in losing to those two guys. So the fact that he was able to make it to the UFC after that knockout where Khamzat knocked him out in the regional scene, and then he's looked this good in the UFC, only losing to Robert Whitaker, former champ. This dude definitely has a lot of potential, and I'm interested to see if he takes another step up or if they kind of leave him at that same level, because it wasn't a super dominant fight like we had seen previously from him, where he was getting all these first round finishes. This one, drew him out to a full decision. But he was able to get the job done, which is the most important thing, especially, like I said, the Iron Turtle is always going to be a tough outing for anyone. He's not going to go out without a fight, and was able to take it all the way to the decision. But Ikram was able to, get his first ever UFC decision win, so that's got to feel good, able to make it all 15. Got a little tired, but at least he was able to, hold on to that victory, because that's what's most important.
Most important. As the rankings show right now, 15, Pfeiffer, Vittori, Costa, Dolizzi, Cannonier, Page, Whitaker, De Ritter, Caio, Izzy, and then Brendan Allen. That's the top, for 15 to 5 of those top 5 fighters, the top 10 fighters. Alaskedov needs a ranked opponent. In my opinion, they should have him fight Marvin Vittori next. Marvin Vittori is a cardio machine. He definitely will be a big step up of a challenge. Either that or Paulo Costa. Either him or Roma Dolizzi. Even Jared Cannonier could be a step up for him, because Jared Cannonier is going to need to definitely step back up after. He's currently tied for 10th rank, even though he shouldn't be. But Michael Venom Page did defeat him previously. So, of course, it's going to be very interesting to see how this middleweight rankings
that's a little weird. How are they tied?
Yeah, they got tied like last week or so, whatever, after the pay-per-view of the event or whatever. Like, oh, these two were tied after the shift in the rankings.
I'm like, didn't Paige just beat him? I'm like,
like,
what?
it's like example like we see Murad Wallace really he beats Sean O'Malley or he beats Corey Sandhagen and they're like yeah but he's tied in the rankings right now
Yeah.
like no he's fucking not you
Yo, that's a
dumb
weird
you
one.
dense.
Especially it was like the literal last fight for both the guys. They fought each other and one guy won. I'm like, I don't understand that. But classic
Exactly.
UFC rankings.
Our next fight only lasted 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Very, very quick finish. Quilin Sakilid, Sakilev. What is it?
I think it's Saul killed. I don't know though.
Sakil.
He
He
killed the
killed
dude.
Salt.
For real.
He killed a dude. Yeah. Nazra Hakprast came into this one looking to be very wrestle heavy, and he got a head kick to the side of the dome, knocked him out, left his body twitching, which I'm very hopeful that he's, I'm very happy that he's okay now.
Yeah.
It was a
It was
very
scary.
scary situation,
Mhm.
very scary situation to see someone get knocked out like that and then have the body twitching so much, like, oh my
Bro,
God.
flashbacks to Bryce
But
Mitchell.
truly, but Quillen is just a monster. He's getting so much better. Like last fight we saw, he got a very big finish. This fight now he gets another big finish. We're just thinking to ourselves, man, give him a ranked opponent. He's nowhere near the ranked. Neither was Nazrat. So it's like the next up fight. You know what I mean? Like next fight, there's Mauricio Ruffy is fighting Benoit Saint Denis soon. That's out of the picture. Grant Dawson is fighting Carlos Diego Ferreira. That's out of the picture. Michael Chandler. It's very confusing as to what Michael Chandler is doing because Michael Chandler is
Who
actually going to be
fucking
a
knows?
real. Did you see what he's going to be doing?
What?
He's going to be a real American freestyle. The Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan. Now he's passed away, but they have this like real American like event. Hold on, American freestyle. Yeah,
Those doing
they
side
just
quests.
announced yesterday. They just announced yesterday that it will be Michael Chandler on November 29 against Chad Mendez in a wrestling match. Like I was like, okay, like so like some like some like Olympic style wrestling and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whatever. November 29th is streaming exclusively on Fox Nation. That's awful. But I think if Michael Chandler wants another fight, give him Shaquille. Like right there, there's nobody else who can really fight. But I will say, Quillen did say this right now a few moments ago on the Ariel Helwani show. He wants to fight on the rumored Sydney, Australia card in February, and he wants his opponent to be Renato Moicano.
I like that.
I love that idea. Renato's a massive wrestler. You put him against a guy who can literally stuff every single takedown possible and put a test to him. It's right there. It'll be perfect. Especially where what we saw with Renato Moicano. He was looking good in the first round against Benil Darouche, and all of a sudden things went downhill for him very quickly. Speaking of Benil Darouche, I thought he was supposed to be fighting soon, isn't he? Yeah, he's fighting Benoit Saint Denis soon at UFC 322 on November 15th, so that should be a good one. But if we're talking about Quillen Salkiel, he killed Nazra Hakras, and I think he just definitely deserves to have a ranked opponent up next. There's no way around it. He's so young, he's so talented, and he's got so much power with him. What were your thoughts on this on this performance night victory?
Yeah, crazy stuff. We've seen him knock out Anshul Jubli in his UFC debut, but to knock out someone like Nazra is just on a whole different level. Because that was a legit test. We've seen Nazra on a huge winning streak, 5 in a row. So this is a huge step up. And for him to be able to end that winning streak with that fashion in that short amount of time where he was just able to nail that head kick, find that range so quickly, and just completely put him out cold to the point where I was worried he may never wake up. But thankfully he's okay. But yeah, scary knockout and scary power from Salkiel with that kick. And yeah, like you said, just screw it, just throw him up into the rankings. He's such a young guy. And so even if he loses, all right, that's the sign to send him back down to the outside the rankings. But he has a lot of momentum right now, And, they're always looking for those stars out of that New Zealand, Australia region. They seem to have a great fighting freaking culture. So many good fighters from that region. And this may be the next one up because he's looking like an absolute beast. He's massive for that division, so lanky, able to just have the size advantage on pretty much most guys that he's going to face. And if he's able to use his range that effectively, where he's able to use that long legs and find the finish like that, he's going to be a really scary dude. And, he seems like he has a good personality on the mic. So I'm interested to see if they're really going to, give him more Kano. That'll be a big step up. But at this point, I can't doubt the man after that knockout because, Nasrat is no joke whatsoever. He's a great fighter himself, and, it's crazy to see him go down like that, especially when he had so much momentum with him. But, it goes to show how good Quinlan is. So, screw it. Throw him in there against the rankings, see what sticks.
For sure, for sure. On top of that, I'm sorry, I was reposting the live link. On top of that, I think that him fighting Renato Moicano, big step up. Get yourself ranked and whatnot, and because 2026 is gonna be huge. Like they have this big Paramount deal that's coming up. A lot of fighters want to be on these cards to get these big bonus payments and whatnot. So I cannot wait to see what happens. Of course, next. We end off the prelims right there.
Yep.
Rami
got me.
Looking much better than we did in the beginning, at least.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
facts,
It was definitely a big shocker. And then we get into the main card.
The tragic main card, especially that main event.
God, I was so freaking close to that perfect card. I was looking
at my watch, I made the call. I was like, Ciryl, really? Poke his ass. I'm like, I don't want to see no perfect card.
Kill him right there and there. But
stick those fingers out, buddy.
Sorry, I'm gonna very quickly get these reposted. Sorry about that. Because we have some good viewership right now. We have almost 400 people here, so I'm just making sure that we can get more people in here. Y'all. Shout out to everybody.
What do y'all think? Did Tom quit, or did was he actually injured? Let us know, because we'll get into it once we get to the main event. But I'm interested to hear what's the community thoughts here.
What is the community thoughts here, and what is everybody's favorite horror movie? Mine is Halloween. I think it's truly 10 out of 10. I don't need too much gory stuff. I just need a good story with it, and just the best of his abilities. And Michael Myers is the GOAT. You know what I mean? Austin Powers. Have y'all ever seen Austin Powers?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Mike Myers and whatnot. You ever seen Shrek? You ever seen My Wife is an Axe Murderer? Good movies. But we get into the light heavyweight division. Azamat Musakanov against Alexander Rakic. We went against each other here, and I was like, I'm gonna go with Azamat because he's 15-0. I have to trust it. And they kept showing the Rakic win over Jimmy Manawa, and I'm like, and somebody was like, "Oh, when he retires, that's gonna be his only highlight." That's fucked up. That's fucked up to say. And that's just before the knockout too. I'm like, that's even worse.
Yeah, bro, it's been a rough going for Rakic ever since.
It really has. We get into this fight. They're trying to feel each other out. Rakic trying to land some head kicks. Trying to land some, even leg kicks. Trying to get some, something brutal out there. And it became brutal. A very short jab is what ended the fight from Azamat Musakanov, and he drops Rakic, ends him right then and there, puts him down, and Rakic was just covering up his face. It was not a good scene for him.
That was nasty work.
And first fight of the main card, and we get ourselves a finish. Fucked up part. He didn't even get a fucking bonus for it.
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying.
What is going on with the UFC? That my God, that was good.
First round knockout.
That's okay. Who cares?
They would get a decent paycheck anyway. No need for the bonus.
But what were your thoughts on Azamat Musakanov getting up this big win over Rakic?
Yeah, dude. Obviously, I predicted Rakic. I was hoping he'd be able to turn back the clock a bit, see back to prime Rakic. And I was thinking, Azamat hasn't really faced anyone that good, in comparison to Rakic, where he's faced pretty much the top 5 of the division. and, may have not have won those fights, but he has a lot of experience against a lot of the best guys in the world. But Azamat showed me that, even though the dude hasn't fought the best, he's had in much better form lately. And all he needed was that jab to land, and that seemed to be all it needed, because you don't see that every day where the jab is the one that puts the guy out. And I'm like thinking either Rakic's chin is completely cooked, or Azamat just has the most heavy hitting hands I've ever seen. It's back-to-back first-round knockouts, so maybe it is looking like that. But what a performance, man. He's definitely undersized for the division, where Rakic is pretty much on the maximum limit of size for that division. Maybe he should move up to heavyweight if his chin is looking this suspect. Like, maybe the weight cut is not a good thing for you, bro, because you're getting slept by a jab. I'm a little concerned. So maybe Rakic needs to move up to heavyweight, because I think he could, fare pretty well in that really shallow division. But this light heavyweight is a whole nother ballgame. Much more skill, much more fast fighters, much more, contenders where, we're hoping to see more contenders in the heavyweight division, but maybe Walter Walker will be one of them. But what a performance from Azamat. Rakic looked decent to start, but once Azamat got going, all he needed was a few punches to land, and it was all she wrote. So it's just crazy to see Rakic a bit of a downfall. He's lost how many in a row? 4 in a row now, and it seems to be getting worse. So maybe a new division is what's going to be needed to fix him up. But, all credit to Azamat Murzakanov. What a performance. He's undefeated. He gets a bunch of finishes. So, he needs to be getting another step up, because if you're able to do that to Rakic, then you could probably be, fighting the top 5 guys and being competitive. So I'm interested to see what happens next with him. Definitely, throw him back in there quickly. He basically didn't take much damage whatsoever, was able to get it done quick. So, throw him back in there maybe, early next year, or even, squeeze him in at the end of the year. You never know, because this dude is an absolute beast.
With the win as well, Rakic is number 10 ranked, of course, in the division. So we got ourselves Azamat Murzakanov ranking, so I'm happy about that. I think he definitely knocks himself into either the top 13 or something like that, because of course Nikita Krylov lost to Bogdan Gustav. Getting a loss against, of course, is gonna lower your expectations in that top 15, especially of getting higher up. Johnny Walker beating Zhang Miang was still a shocker. So I cannot wait to see what happens next. Our next fight, I don't really have much to say about it besides, my God, why were we put through that? Why the hell did God put us through that awful, 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 awful fight? Like, my God. Jailton Almeida landed 27 strikes in total, and Volkov was literally just fighting for his life. And people were like, why did Volkov win? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because he was actually throwing punches on his back.
Yeah,
like
doing something.
Maybe because he was actually doing something. Maybe he was not laying down and being like, oh, why didn't I win? I dominated him. You laid on top of him for 15 minutes and did nothing.
Jack. No submission attempts.
If he postured up and landed some elbows, I'm like, okay, then got to submission, like, okay, those are points being added.
Yeah.
They tell you that throughout the whole fucking show, and then you don't fucking do shit. Like,
Bo became a pacifist. He's like, I'm good, guys.
I have nothing to say about this besides Jailton Almeida. What the hell? And Volkov, congrats on your world title match. Like, what I mean? You're gonna get the winner of Gane versus Aspinall. Whenever we actually do get one, is going to fight Volkov, and that's going to be a very, very fun fight, because Volkov is so much fun as a striker, but you really don't want to have to fucking deal with another wrestle fuck like this, where you're just wondering what the hell is going to happen next. There's not really much I want to say about this. What do you want to say?
I'll say this. Thank God the judges got it right, because that was such a boring fight. But like you said, at least Volkov was going for some damage. I'm like, bro, Almeida attempted 10 significant strikes the entire fight, bro. 10. I'm like, bro, you have more control time per minute. You throw 1 strike per minute of control time. How is that even possible, bro? It's just completely like, what is going on here? Especially from Almeida. I'm like, he had a first round knockout in his last fight, and then had a first round submission. So then he's like, let me not go for a submission or a knockout. I'm like, I feel like he's just so worried about getting knocked out when he actually faces someone his level. He's like, I'm just going to crotch sniff the whole time instead of actually going for the finish because I'm scared I might get knocked out like what happened with Curtis Blades. Well, he got freaking destroyed by Curtis. So definitely it was a very humbling experience for Almeida where he was shown by the judges, but we're not going to award you for just holding your opponent down, not going for any sort of finish. Like, at least go for the submission, bro. Like, show that you're at least trying. That it was stood up like many times, and then he just do the same fucking shit. But at least Volkov was able to do some damage with the short amount of stand up he had, and then he was just trying to do anything he could on the stand up. I mean, on from his back, and in the first round, Volkov was able to get some nice damage off once he got a reversal, but man, it was just a terrible fight after that. Just completely nothing was happening besides Volkov trying to, do some damage from the back. So it was definitely nothing to write home about besides just how boring it was. So I'm glad that Volkov got that win after he was robbed against Gane in his last fight. So, like you said, he's definitely going to be up next for that title if these two are able to sort things out, Gane and Aspinall. So, at least Volkov won. That's all I have to say. And, we picked it. Sure. We picked it right. So that's extra bonus.
Exactly. I was nervous about that heading into that decision. I'm like, God, don't fuck me over here.
Yep.
Our next fight, bantamweight division. Basically, either one of these guys could be next in line for the title if they can get another win after this. Like, it was like a win this, get another bigger fight, and then see what happens next. Because I feel like the winner of this could fight like Sean O'Malley of all people. You know what I mean? Like, get yourself an actual title fight. But Umar Nurmagomedov fought Mario Batista, who Mario Batista said earlier that week on Embedded that he needs to win in the first round. He looked like he was getting a little bit frenzy there. He got taken down, a little bit worked up and everything. Second round comes in, he drops Umar Nurmagomedov, and we're like, oh my God.
Nasty
holy
knee.
Crap. He dropped him. It was a beautiful moment. But of course he gets dominated in the aspect, but still, even if he got wrestled a little bit and whatnot, it was not going to be more than enough for Mario Batista to not have that round, even though he didn't get given that round at all. It was kind of stupid.
That is kind of crazy.
Third round comes in, he lands this big knee again, and we're like, oh my God, like Umar's getting freaking caught a lot. Like this is some scary stuff. But he worked the wrestling, got it to the end of the fight, got it to the judges' scorecards, and he gets a 30-27 on all judges' scorecards for a unanimous decision win. I didn't agree with that. I think he should have split decision because of that damn knockdown. That knockdown.
Yeah. At least 29-28, 30-27. How's that fucking possible?
I'm even asking myself, like, what the hell is going on here, Buster? But sorry, someone sent me a random tweet. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? My phone was buzzing. I'm like, what's going on here?
But yeah, dude.
Sorry. It was Will Smith from the Dodgers. I'm like, okay.
But, the GOAT.
The GOAT, exactly. My God. I cannot wait for tonight's game.
I know, bro.
Having
to play again after that? Fuck.
Like, golly. And Shohei's pitching tonight? Oh, my God. God bless America.
The GOAT.
But Umar Nurmagomedov picks up the big win here. We already know that Petr Yan is next in line for the Merab Dvalishvili, but we already saw Merab fight Umar. We already saw him dominate Peter and dominate Sean O'Malley. He's killed everybody in this division. So it's always nice to see these guys get a second chance to try to redeem their wrongs. But, it's fucking Merab Dvalishvili. He's something else. Yep. What were your thoughts on Umar picking up this win here to bounce back?
I thought it was a deserving win, but yeah, I don't know how Mario didn't win that second round where Umar was almost finished. So I don't know what the judges were looking at there, but the other two rounds, I'd give to Umar. So, valid decision. And, it was a really tough test for Umar coming off of that loss from Merab and then facing Mario Batista, who's on that massive, 8-fight winning streak, beating everyone, and I feel like Mario put on a good show, but it just wasn't quite enough. I feel like Umar kind of took back to his roots, a little bit less striking, a little bit more wrestling, where he was just taking him down over and over again, maybe learning from Merab after, he kind of got humbled by Merab with the takedown. So maybe Umar's like, maybe this is the strat. Maybe I shouldn't focus so much on the more entertaining side of things, the striking, in my opinion. But it was still an entertaining fight for the most part. And, those Nurmagomedovs, dude, you got to keep them on their feet. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough fight. And Mario just wasn't able to, keep it where he wanted to. And ultimately took the L. But I think that it was still a valiant performance from Mario. Put on a good show. Almost was able to get that finish with that knee. Hurt him bad. I don't know how they didn't get that round. Total bullshit. But, so maybe he was going to need a finish tonight or that night because the judges weren't going to give him any respect. But, shout out to Umar getting that performance back in the win column. And, yeah, he'll probably be back in the title conversation before we know it after, whoever Merab faces next. It seems like he's unstoppable at this point, but you never know. All you need is one lucky shot, and he might go down. So who knows what's going to happen in that bantamweight division right now? It seems like it's going to be Merab forever, but we've seen crazier things happen. So I'm excited to see what they're going to match him up with next. Another top 5 guy, or an up-and-comer, or just wait it out. Hopefully that's my least favorite option. But, we'll see what happens. Shout out to Umar, and shout out to Mario, making it a fun fight.
Shout out to Mario, dude, he's a dog. I cannot wait to see what he does next. He definitely does deserve to stay in that top 5 and, going further for the championship, because a fight between him and Merab would be very, very interesting with the way that he hits and how quick Merab is trying to go for those takedowns. It should be a lot of fun.
100%.
But our next fight was for the vacant women's strawweight championship, and Mackenzie Dern versus Venus Jandiroba. They fought before in 2020 during COVID time, and it was a very heavy stand-up fight. This was a very heavy stand-up fight. They know how good they are on the ground, and when they do get to the ground, it's very equal in some ways. But Mackenzie is so good with being able to be on her back, pull the opponent down from their arm, and try to keep them in a guard to where she can land these blows or get a submission in. Round 1 went to Mackenzie Dern, for the takedown and for the pressure she caused. Second round went to Venus Jandiroba for the pressure and keeping the stand up. Third round went to Venus Jandiroba for the continuing get on, but still getting a little bit tired. And that's why this was a 5-round fight, because we were going to see Venus Jandiroba go to the 4th round for the first time in her career. We've seen Mackenzie Dern do it 3 times in her career, never for Vina. And then round 4, Mackenzie Dern. Round 5, Mackenzie once again. At the end, we got it 48-47, which was the judge 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46. I don't know where the 49-46 came from. I feel like that judge was kind of thinking a little bit too, he wasn't thinking that, oh, Vina could have this at all. No, he just said, Mackenzie.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that. Mackenzie Dern definitely is a champion. I'm happy for her, but for the love of God, don't let Zhang Weili lose next month, guys. If she loses and she has to come back to the women's strawweight division, she's gonna become a 3-time champion, dude. 3 times. There's no way around it. She's gonna dominate the wrestling. She's gonna dominate the aspect. She's gonna kill it all.
100%, bro. That's what I was thinking while watching this. I'm like, both these ladies are great, but Zhang is on a whole nother level to these guys, to these girls. But it was still a good performance. Dern really impressed me with the jab. The jab was actually on point the whole time. The striking was on point. We've seen her win fights with the stand-up when she's really been forced to. But I was thinking that maybe Virna was going to be the stronger fighter, but nope. This time around, once again, Mackenzie was able to get it done on the stand-up. We saw it before. I was thinking Virna was going to be improved, but I think they were both improved, but Mackenzie was much more improved, where the combos were flowing. Virna was more of a one-shot pony, only punching one at a time, where Mackenzie was throwing the whole kitchen sink at her and really going for the pressure and just overwhelming Virna at times. So I was super impressed with Mackenzie Dern. I picked Virna, but I was 100% agreeing with the judges there with Mackenzie Dern getting the W. She was just on point, much more accurate, and much more active. So that's a great recipe for a win right there, where you're the more active fighter and you're landing more punches. And, I was surprised that it didn't have as much submission work as I expected, where both these two are great submission artists, but they'll cancel each other out at times, where they're both so good on the ground, where it's so dangerous for either of them. They're like, let's just scrap. And I feel like that was kind of the best scenario where we got to see them really test their limits. And Mackenzie Dern, what an improvement. We saw her earlier in her career. Her stand-up was completely her weakness. It was really bad where she was just all for the submission. But as the years gone on, she's really focused on that, almost to the point where I felt like she was overly focusing on that, which got her in some trouble before. But the way she was able to bounce back from those losses and keep improving and keep going out there fighting hard, not worrying about, am I going to get knocked out? She just goes out there to scrap, which is really admirable. And the fact that she's able to improve that stand-up so much, it was just crazy to see. So, shout out to Mackenzie. Definitely a deserving champion if Zhang is gone. But, yeah, they better hope, like you said, that Zhang stays up there, because I think that Zhang might be able to, take both of these ladies out in the same night with how good, Zhang is. But, it doesn't take anything away from this performance, because, Zhang is not in the division at least right now. So, Valentina's in for a tough fight when that one comes around. I'm excited.
November 15th, that's going to be a very exciting card at UFC 322 at Madison Square Garden. Moving on from the co-main, congrats to Dern. Everything was looking green for me, and then the main event happened. We're going to get into that very briefly, because there's really not much to talk about besides, we're hoping that our schedule happens. But eye poke happens before the end of the first round, and Tom Aspinall can't open his eye up. A lot of people had a lot of doctor opinions online as to how they feel that Tom should have handled it, including fighters who've lost their eyes, telling him, "Hey, that's the fight game. You got to go in there and keep going." I don't want to lose my eye and be like, "Oh, I did it for the fight game, brother." That's stupid. That's dense. That's delusional. That's dumb as fuck. Don't fucking think like that whatsoever. If you're a fighter and your coach tells you, "Hey, it's part of the fight game. You gotta lose your eye," I'm gonna look at you like, "Are you fucking dumb? Like, do you have your eyes? Yeah. Then why didn't you lose your eyes? This ain't no Naruto. You're not gonna have to know freaking
for real, Sharingan.
There's Sharingan and everything in your freaking eye. Thank you for being a nerd, but like, my God, like,
there's one thing I love is Naruto. That's a fact.
And my little brother, he's obsessed with everything of it. He has got all the Funkos, he's got all the games, he's got all the shows, everything about it.
Got my signed Funko from the Naruto voice actor. The goat right here watching over me.
Oh, that is so freaking tough. But like, you there's no freaking any of that type of stuff where you can
no Sharingan in the MMA.
Sharingan, none of that stuff. Fuck that. But like, and that's what people think online. Like, there's so many dumb idiots. Like, I could make a whole list of all the names of dumb idiots I've seen.
My number one was. Go on.
Who are part of MMA media. Yeah. I'm so goddamn glad I'm no longer part of this crap. Like, of this
it's
MMA media stuff. I can't do it. 5 years ago, it was like, okay, cool. And all of a sudden, a political change happens with from Joe Biden to Donald Trump. And everyone's like, yeah, if you want to make it in the UFC, you got to be a man. If you want to make it in MMA, you got to be like this and that.
For real, though.
Shut the fuck up, you dense motherfucker.
The worst one was fucking Aljo being like, it seemed like he was looking for a way out. I'm like, Aljo, you of all people, bro. I'm like, no.
Like, Aljo, you got kneed in the fucking dome by Pyotr Yan, and you walked away with a title.
Yeah, like, you for real, bro. I'm like,
come on, dude.
Shut up, dude. I'm like, come on, dude. Talking about keep on fighting.
And I mean this respectfully to like Anthony Smith and others, but like, you guys had opportunities where you could have taken the easy way out, and you said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go get killed in there."
For real, bro. I'm like, Anthony, you could have been, not. You could have give John Jones a disqualification then with that freaking shit. But no, my pride got in the way, bro. My warrior pride. I'm like, bro.
My warrior pride. My lion heart. Like, my God, shut the fuck up. Like,
for real, bro. I'm like, it's one thing if you're a challenger. Okay, I understand. You may never get this opportunity again. Okay, I have to fight through it. Otherwise, I may never get the chance to fight for the belt again. Okay, I understand. But I'm like, bro, Tom is a champion, gets eye poked, and seemed like it was affecting him, dude. I'm like, I'm not one to say one dude is lying after they literally get paid to fight dudes for a living, bro. I'm like, I think that I don't think they're scared of anyone if they're going in there and fighting these dudes on a regular basis and training hard on the daily basis, dude. I'm like, it's just a fine line between stupidity and, being quote unquote brave. I'm like, bro, it's like if there's actual damage to the eye, it's not Tom's fault. It's the guy that did the poking. I'm like, if you want to be mad at anyone, be mad at Ciryl for not learning how to make a fist. Because I'm like, I don't get how this is a natural reaction, bro. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to punch him if he gets too close? But he's like, let me just put my hand, post up on him with my hands down. I'm like, shouldn't the hands be up if you're posting on him, feeling him, not poking him? Like, there's a difference between feeling someone with their palm and going like this. I'm like, that seems like a very different motion to me. So the fact that people are giving Tom slack for something that Ciryl did, I'm like, I just don't understand whatsoever. Like, and then another thing, people are acting like Gane was going to absolutely dominate the whole fight. I'm like, bro, it wasn't even a whole round, and people are acting like the fight was decided. I'm like, dude, we have no idea what was going to happen in the rest of the fight. So the disingenuous, Gane was destroying him, Tom was looking for a way out. I'm like, why the fuck would he be looking for a way out, bro? I'm like, I just don't understand.
Brian Sutterer, a doctor on the Ariel Helwani show, broke down the Aspinall eye injury, saying there's a big difference between something looking okay and something functioning okay. When you get knuckles deep into your eyes, that's plenty of force and plenty of trauma to cause your eye to not function right away. Also followed up with, the eyelid is going to want to close and stay closed. That's why you see fighters really struggle, and it kind of looks like they're faking it, right? But that's a reflex. That's not something they're intentionally doing. It's your body trying to protect the eye from more injury. And then he followed up with, we do know that the longer you are unconscious, the more that can correlate with a worse long-term outcome, because more trauma was imparted to the brain and it's taking longer for everything to reset, for that computer to reboot, so to speak. All this stuff that a doctor is literally telling people, hey, this was the right call to make. But people are still like, I don't know. If I was in there, you were eating Cheeto dust underneath your fingers, saying, no, my parlay didn't hit.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I'm convinced it's 90% gambling why these people are salty, bro. I'm like, I just don't get it, dude. I'm like, we need to start punishing this bullshit eye pokes so the shit stops happening, bro. That,
Andy Foster is having a meeting next Tuesday to discuss intentional and non-intentional fouls.
Yeah, I agree with.
Maybe more things can happen for eye pokes where it's a very serious. If you eye poke someone, point deduction immediately.
That's how it should be, bro. I'm like, other sport? Ariel was talking about this. In what other sport is it? Oh, was that intentional or not intentional? Like, unless it's a flagrant foul in the NBA, but other than that, if you foul the dude, they're going to the free throw line. That's points for them. That's a punishment for you.
What happens when you're literally running with a receiver and you put your arm up before the ball is even thrown? Pass interference.
I accidentally did it, so we're just going to give him a warning because it was an accident. I'm like, bro, what?
It's a warning for now. Like, no, that doesn't fucking exist, dumbasses.
Bro, it's the only way to fix it, for real, start punishing these shits immediately. No warning. You're warned in the back. That's what I don't get. I'm like, do they not know the rules? Why is there a warning? I'm like, is this a new rule? Are they just adding this within the fight? I'm like, is this some sort of thing they didn't know? I'm like, this is not some new made-up thing. This happens every single fight. All right, here are the rules. Go over in the back. But then they're like, let me give them 20 warnings before I actually do anything about it. I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck. Start taking points.
But that was all UFC 321 main card. Everything looked golden and green until the very end.
But we'll still count it as perfect, though. You know, no contest. There's no contest. So therefore, you're 4-4.
God bless America. Speaking of life is golden, life is green. Jason's mama is wearing this old cowboy hat and glasses, and she wants to know what fucking time it is.
I don't know.
Time for her son to come out the water. It's winning time, and I'm very fucking happy. After suffering for 18 innings last night with baseball, and finally seeing Freddie Freeman hit that walk-off home run, to thankfully having a good weekend of a perfect card. Life is good. Life is green. Life is gold, and I'm very happy about that.
I fucking love it.
But my God, like, it's crazy. Is this the first ever one? The first ever perfect card in like Talktagon history? Or did Brady?
I think you've gotten one before, bro. But I think I was sick that week, so you got screwed. Because one week you were like 10-1, so there had to be a perfect card in there somewhere.
I think I might have lost on the main card. I might have lost on the main
Yeah.
card. Who knows?
Ciryl Cook.
But other than that, like God likes me. I think so. God, you know what I mean? Like it's
Bro,
like that
well,
mindless.
rough one
It's
for
like that
me.
song, the song "Mindless from Mindless Self Indulgence," the song "Witness," and he says like God likes me. I'm like, yeah, God does like me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I'm
Like,
feeling that right now, bro. At least I was
But my
not
God,
below 500. That's about it. At least I was 500.
truly. But what we're gonna get into very quickly before we send everybody off. Thank you so much to the 400 plus people who are watching this, of course, showing support, showing any type of love that you could on this final week of October before we head into November, and it's gonna be all about being thankful. Thankful for knockouts, thankful for submissions, and thankful for good fight cards. Speaking of
Yep.
good fight cards, we have one coming up I believe this weekend. Yep, November 1st, kicking off the month immediately. We got ourselves a a UFC card at the Apex, our favorite. But we have to name off a couple of names. Charles Radke, the homophobe, is back against Daniel Frunza.
Knock this
Um,
motherfucker out.
Isaac Dolgarian if I will fight Yadier Del Val. Jeremiah Wells is back to fight Themba Garimbo. I like Themba, so that's gonna be a very fun one.
Yep.
Jeremiah is very entertaining. Waldo Cortez Acosta is back. He's gonna be fighting Anti Dalija, who is the teammate to Tom Aspinall. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how that one works out. And then
Yeah.
our main event, we have featherweight action between two potential futures of the division. Steve Garcia, who's been on a very big knockout tear, against David Onama. So I cannot wait for that one. That will be November 1st at the UFC Apex for the UFC. And then after that, we got us another UFC Apex card where it'll be Gabriel Bonfim against Randy Brown. I got the two brothers mixed up.
Yep.
We also got on that card Tisha Pennington against Denise Gomez, Josh Hokett against Max Jimenez, Myra Breno Silva against Jacqueline Cavalanti, Adrian Yanez against Kristen Quinones, sorry. And that'll be at November 8th. That'll be a week after and everything. And then
So
following
busy,
that card,
busy.
we got three busy weeks of the UFC. We got that Apex card on November 8th as well. And then we got November 15th. We got the UFC heading to New York City for Madison Square Garden for
Let's
Islam
go.
Makhachev moving up to welterweight to fight Jack Della Maddalena for the gold. We're going to see what happens. And it's so great we have two people moving up in weight classes after dominating the scene. They want to go and get more gold. We got Islam doing it for his division, and we got Zhang Weili doing it for hers. So it's going to be very, very exciting. I cannot wait. Even Leon Edwards is supposed to fight on that card against Carlos Prates. So
Talk
will we
about
have a bounce
stacked.
back? Will we have a bounce back from Leon Edwards after the recent skid of losses, or will Carlos Prates continue on this big
Spinning
win?
elbow.
Spinning elbow win might happen. Maybe some ground game domination. Who knows? We don't know. Sean Brady proved that to us that you can dominate Leon on the ground still, just like Bilal did.
Yep.
But we're definitely gonna see what happens coming up in this November month. After how crazy October was, all the crazy movies I've watched, all the crazy fights we've witnessed, all the stuff, it's gonna be very exciting. Thank you so much to all 437 of you who tuned in, who enjoyed the show, for 400 people to just sit here for over an hour and about 30 minutes, 20 minutes or so, 24 minutes, an hour and 24 minutes sitting here for us, listening to us, give our analysis and our thoughts, our honest opinions about, mixed martial arts and the UFC's card this past weekend and going forward. I'm very happy for that. We have great analysis. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're saying. We're not going to
Especially Rami with these picks, bro.
Thank you. We're not going to come in here and be like, just yapping our mouth and be like, oh, but he should have won because of. Like, no, unless you have a true valid reason as to why somebody should have won and you have a good analysis, go right ahead. But, it's definitely, it's going to be very entertaining to see what happens next week, the week after that, with these back-to-back Apex cards. Because that's going to make me want to off myself.
Yeah.
And then
at least we have the pay-per-view. That'll be good.
Exactly. We got ourselves a pay-per-view in the middle of Thanksgiving month. And then we got ourselves, just the rest of the month just to enjoy ourselves for football, for basketball, which is back. Go Lakers. Go Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, all the rest of the gang.
Bronny?
Baseball, Bronny Jr. Tonight's game between the Dodgers and Blue
Bro,
Jays. Go Dodgers! Go LA. Beat Toronto once again. Shohei Ohtani pitches.
bro, hopefully we don't need 18 innings this time, but
Oh my God. If
that shit
we
went
get
forever.
18 innings again, I might cry. The last time we got 18 innings, by the way, was in 2018, Game 3 of the World Series between the Dodgers and Red Sox. So the
That shit's
Dodgers have
crazy.
done this before. It's just crazy work, crazy work. And the walk-off there was from Max Muncy. So like, wow.
So, gotta love Muncie.
Gotta love Funky Muncie. But thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. I am Rami myself. Who else but Rami? I don't know if anybody noticed this, but of course I added a little bit of an extra name for myself and everything because it is one of my middle names, Afif. It is my grandfather's name, of course. And he was Baba Afif. My father is, Rami Senior and whatnot. And for me, I wanted to honor and give, a big respect to my family and whatnot because, they're great people. They're great people. My great grandfather Habib, who my little brother is named after. I have that name as well, but I was like, he is Habib. You know what I mean? Like that's the mini Khabib right there for me. So like, of course I'm not gonna take his name from him, but my older brother who is disowned from the family, he had the Afif name and he didn't want to use it. He didn't want to respect it. He didn't want to, show love to it. So I'm like, you know what? Since you're disowned, since I'm not talking to you in like almost 7, 8+ years and everything, hopefully you're dead.
I'll be taking that.
Yeah, I'll be taking that myself. Rami Afif. It sounds fucking pretty tough and everything. Plus,
it's tough.
Two strong Palestinian names, or two strong Arab names. Like you can't hate on that at all. So I'm really enjoying it. I cannot wait to incorporate it to some graphic designs and whatnot and whatever, just so I can be able to get more of that. And I hope I think I might have like an Instagram post this week about that. But it all depends. It really depends on how much time I have going for the rest of the week. World Series wise.
Hopefully the Dodgers end it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, end it tomorrow night, and then I'll be happy because Game 6, when they, will be on Halloween Day.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
You go to a Halloween party, you gotta check the game on. The whole time you're like
I'm not watching nothing else.
Exactly. It'll be so hard. It'll be like you want to watch Halloween, you can't do that. Shohei Ohtani's pitching, like golly. So it's like, who knows what's gonna happen? Yamamoto almost pitched last night.
Yeah, he was warming up, ready to go.
Crazy freaking work. I love baseball so
much. Dude, I'm like, we're about to have Kike pitch again at this rate, bro.
Oh my God. If we had Kike pitch, I'd be so happy. I love Kike when he pitches. That just the way that he does the posting or whatever.
Kike is a national treasure.
Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. You can find me at Who's for Rami on Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky, YouTube, Instagram, all those good places. Max, where can they find you at?
Follow me at Combat Convos on Twitter/X. I prefer Twitter. And then also at Brawl and Draw is my art account, a bunch of combat sports art, boxing and MMA mostly, but it's a good time over there. Love making those pieces and, and I love chatting it up with Rami, having these conversations every week. We'll be back next week once again. I'll try to beat Rami in predictions. Maybe you guys need to help me out with the picks to beat Rami. We need to, collectively put our heads together because I'm getting cooked. It's just every week, but it's okay. The comeback is coming. The comeback is cooking up.
I'm just trying to get into that 100 range. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get into that, from what your record is and whatnot. So
I had a head start, so you definitely beat me on percentage.
Yeah, but of course, thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. We will be back next week. I am, Rami, your host, of course. That's Max. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Salut. And thank you.
Thank you.